Now, welcome my viewers to my channel at Rev.DR.SAMWEL. It's a YouTube channel which I discuss issues to do with masculinities, and these are issues to do with men. And remember, in my previous videos, I've actually said that you cannot talk about masculinities without referring to femininity or even issues to do with family. And today, I want to ask you kindly to continue subscribing, continue sharing, and let people know that in this channel, I discuss issues to do with the behavior of men. Now, today, I want to discuss something very important, and this is the influence of men, or rather, the influence of fathers to their children. Because although we know very well that it is the responsibility of both the father and the mother to take care of their children and raise them in accordance to the will of God, but there is a bigger stake of, the influence of the father actually to his children. And let me say that as we want to discuss this, let us also remember what the Word of God tells us so that we can now argue and say that a father has a bigger stake, in rearing children or raising them up, as compared to the mother. Why do I say so? Because if you read Ephesians chapter number 6 and verse 4, and I quote here, fathers, do not exasperate, or irritate or provoke your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. So you can see here, when Paul is talking, he's really speaking to the fathers. Why is he not talking about the mothers here? It's because I know, and you know, that the father has a bigger stake as compared to the mother in terms of raising the children. Whereas Exodus 20 and verse 12 says that both of them are equally responsible. And even Proverbs 1 verse 8 and Proverbs 6 and verse 20, it shows that both of them have actually, have a responsibility towards raising their children. But as you realize what Paul is addressing here, he's saying, I write to you fathers. In fact, he's talking about the fathers not irritating or provoking their children, but instead to bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. So 2 words here are very key: training and instruction. That means there is time to be taken for training. There is a time to be taken, some time to be taken for the instruction of the children. And he says, fathers. So this is why today I want to say that the influence of the fathers to their children is greater than that of the mothers. And it is the Bible which has charged us as fathers, as men, to raise our children in the training and in the instructions of the Lord. Today, my viewer, you're going to agree with me that many children have gone astray. It doesn't mean that it is only because of parenthood. There are other reasons, because you realize that the world is full of temptations. The world is changing very fast in terms of technology, and many other times that children at a certain age, they're engaging themselves with the technology, and technology has become their great teacher. And so these temptations, this technology, and other factors are influencing the behavior of the children. So as a parent, when I talk here and say that parents influence their children to become better people, whereas it is true, but I also know there are parents who are crying, they're in agony, they're in pain because of their children. They raised them up very well, in church indeed, but at a certain level, the children have gone astray. Well, as a parent, I want to encourage you and tell you, If your child has gone astray and you did your part, then get encouraged and move on. Continue to pray for that child, and God will hear and answer you and also change that particular child. But I want to talk about to men today, just like Paul has said that is speaking to the fathers, that they do not irritate their children, but rather they raise them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. When it comes to this, I want to say that I've realized there are 4 types of fathers or men when it comes to the role of raising the children. But before I come to these 4 types, it's good to say that we want to thank God for you as a father. If you have done your work very well, if you have provided for your family, in as much as you have the resources, may you receive a thanks right now because of the good work that you have done. Why do I say so? Because a good family will always bring us a good society. A good family will give us a good church. And therefore, when you're doing your part, then remember, it's not only for your family that you're doing this, but you're doing it for the society. You're also doing it for the church. But now let me come to the 4 types of fathers. The first type is the present father. This present father is a father who is actively and positively taking care of the children. First of all, we are saying actively, because raising up children is not a one-time thing. It means it's a lifelong thing. You know, actively means here that you are participating fully into this job of raising your children, but also positively, because many are the times that we have had fathers who have put down their children, who have discouraged them. Yes, because maybe you have heard that there's those men or those fathers that they want to be associated with the children that are doing well, particularly in academics. And so one time, if a child comes home and he has failed or she has failed in an exam, then you would hear such a father, calling that child names and, putting that child down. Yes, because you would hear a father saying, you are as stupid as your mother. Is that right? But when a child comes back home with a good report form, then you'd hear the father saying, bragging and saying, this child is as wise as a father, meaning failure is associated with the mother or the women, and success here in that case is being associated with men. That is not right. That is not right at all. But I want to tell you, don't put down your children. Don't discourage them. Don't irritate them. But actually continue to encourage them, even if they are not doing very well. But you have time with them and encourage them, telling them that today you have failed, but tomorrow you will make it. Yes, because of that encouragement. Still, these present fathers, they take their role very seriously of teaching the children, of also disciplining them. Teaching the children here is because, like Proverbs 22 and verse 15 records, it shows that folly is bound up in the heart of a child, that the heart of the child is full of foolishness, and therefore he or she needs to be trained, so to be taught. And therefore it is a work of the father to teach the children and remove that kind of folly from their hearts, but also disciplining them. Yes, disciplining them, because Proverbs 29 verse 15 also, it talks about that kind of sparing the rod. And when that is done, then there will be disgrace to the mother. That's what that Proverbs is talking about. So it means that discipline is very key, and you as a father, you need to discipline the children. Now, it's a problem because we have different people disciplining the children differently. There are those who go overboard. There are those who think that not spoiling, not sparing the rod means actually spoiling the child by destroying, when you are hitting that child with that particular rod. And that is where we have a problem, because it's not a must that discipline is, using that rod. Okay, it can be used once in a while, but you see, spoiling the child by not sparing the child, the rod, you understand what I'm saying, is not right. But also just leaving the children to do what they want, leaving the children, maybe for the teacher to discipline them, that is not right. And that's what we are saying, that Father, you have that responsibility of disciplining the children. I know, I've heard stories whereby the mothers do not support the fathers in that role of disciplining the children. And what happens many other times, that a mother would actually leave, would actually just ask the father, questions on what he's doing when he's disciplining the children. I'm saying this because one time when conducting a research, we were hard on men, and we were telling them that you are the ones who have destroyed your families. And one man said, because he's a good Christian, he said, the problem is not with us as men, but the problem lies with our wives. That's what he said. And now he said this, that he's a good Christian, and one day he had preached in the church, and going back home, the child had done some mistakes, and therefore he had to discipline the child. And so when he was disciplining the child, the mother shouted and said, Father so and so, because I don't want to mention the names here, why are you not the one who was preaching in church? Now what are you doing to the child? Now see, now the father, this father actually stopped, and actually became so cool, and therefore later on that family had problems. Why? Because the mother is not supporting the father in disciplining these children. Okay, it should be moderate, it should be considerate, it should be a way of raising the children to become better in life. Now, number two, fathers. I'm talking about 4 types of fathers. The type number 2 is present but absent. Present but absent. These fathers do not actively and positively take care of their children. They don't teach or discipline them. They have left these responsibilities to the mothers. Even though they are present, even though they are there, they are there but passive. They are there and they don't say anything in terms of teaching, in terms of training, in terms of instructing the children. They are there, yes. These are people who are at home. These are people who are always, when you go to that family, that father is there. The father is there. But he has left all the responsibilities of taking care of the children to the mother. Is that right? No, it's not. Because Paul is saying that you need to raise your children, by instructing them, by training them in the ways of the Lord. Do not be passive. Don't leave the issue of even disciplining the children to your wife, or even teaching them. You leave it to your wife, and yet you are present. You are present but absent. What I mean here is that your mind is not there. Your thinking is not there. You don't have the thoughts of raising these children in a godly manner. So that is type number 2. Type number 3 are absent fathers still, but we call them absent with apology fathers. Does it sound well to you? Absent with apology. Absent with apology here, the father may be working far away. This man is, looking for resources for his family. And because of employment, because of the job, he's working far away. He's absent, but with apology. Everybody knows where he works, and he comes once in a while. So he engages himself with the children when he comes once in a while. But remember, you may be there, but you're still absent. Okay, you are absent with apology, but when you come back home, maybe for a weekend, maybe after a month, maybe after so long, but the quality time that is needed for you and the children is also not there. So you need also to take care of that. But we thank you as a man because of looking for resources for your family. But remember, you can invest for them and not invest in them. Investing for them means working tirelessly, working very hard as a man, and you are looking for money and everything else for your family. But you forget to invest in them. Investing in them means that you empower these children inwardly, that they have that strength that comes from the instruction and the training of the Lord. Because you may look for money for them and don't teach them the word of God. And finally, what will happen in that case is that they will also destroy what you have been looking for them. So invest in them as you also invest for them, so that when you come back home, please take time with them. Please, engage them in terms of discipline, in terms of instructions, in terms of training them in accordance to the will of God. And finally, we have other fathers that I can call absent without apology. Absent without apology. No one knows where they are. No one knows when they will come back home, if ever they will come. They just went. They left home. They just went. The wife does not know where he is. The children do not know where their father is. And it's not for a short time. Others have gone for years and they just appear. Sometimes they just appear all at once. These are, like a submarine. We can call them submarine fathers as well. Because a submarine at one time is under the water. Other times it is on top of the water. Are you a submarine father that you just appear when you wish and you just disappear when you so wish and leave every responsibility to the mother? And this is very difficult for mothers to raise their children, especially the boy child. Today, we are speaking so much about the problems that the boy child is facing. Could it be that the father is absent without apology? And the only person that the child knows, the only person that the son sees is actually the mother. I've also heard a story that a boy went for a short call, and the teacher was wondering, because this boy, the way he was behaving in the short call is just, behaving like a girl. Meaning that the only person that this boy has seen going for a short call is the mother. Could it be because the father is absent without apology, just went and sometimes appear, just like that? Let me tell you, raising up the children is not the responsibility of the mother alone, but it is a combination. And I've said the fathers have a bigger stake. I want to tell you what we are facing today, and people are calling it, scholars are calling it masculinity crisis. This masculinity crisis, it is a crisis that sometimes when you look at it, you would wonder whether it is not men themselves who have brought it to themselves. Okay, they may say, and we may also say, and it is true, that for some time now, we have talked so much about empowering the girl child, which is a very important thing. Let us empower the girl child, but not at the expense of the boy child. But who is there to empower the boy child? Is it not the man who you are? Don't be absent without apology. Please also, men, when you are even leaving home, even if it's a short distance that you are going, please, can you let your wife know? Maybe that's controversial. You're not telling your wife, I've gone to this and that place to do this and that. Because sometimes you don't say, or even you lie and say, I've gone to this place and that. Supposing an accident happens and your wife says, no, my husband was not there. The children say, our father was not there. Please be open enough. Even in terms of raising these children, you have a great influence on them, because that's what Paul is saying, that fathers, do not irritate your children, but instead bring them up in the training and instructions of the Word of God. So God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Become a present father who is actively and positively raising the children in the training and in the instructions of the Word of God. God bless you. God bless you.